And we're recording. So once this goes up to stats, I'll say sync. Sync. There you go. And I'll turn down the volume a little bit here. Okay, so here we are. Hey guys, how's it going with you? Here, you're hearing my voice. It's me, your old good friend, Caleb. How's it going, everybody? I am here making a video. I know I haven't done it for a while, and I figured it was about time that I got around to making a new one. And I've kind of been wanting to for a while. And I figured Binding of Isaac was a good place to start. I haven't played this game in a long time. I think I remember the basic control scheme. I'm actually playing on the TV, which is quite cool. I have my computer plugged in out here in the living room. Oh, my game froze. I hope it didn't crash. Oh no. I hope it doesn't do that very often. Okay, anyway, yeah, I've been wanting to get back into making some stuff. I've been watching through my old stuff and becoming nostalgic once again. So I figured, since I've watched all my old things to death pretty much, I'm getting my ass kicked, by the way. This is a huge freaking room. Figured it's about time to start adding to the collection so I have some different things to watch. You might think it's vain or conceited or something to watch my own stuff, but I don't care. There's something about it that I like. It's not that I find myself to be particularly hilarious or anything, although I do. But what I mean to say is, it's not about the technical enjoyment necessarily. It's just kind of fun to see something that you made, especially if you put some good effort into it. And it's fun to see how you change over time too. Like just in a year or so, especially when you're younger, you change a lot. And having recorded proof of that is kind of cool. Anyway, so that's my justification behind wanting, and well, the justification for watching what I've made before, so you don't think I'm like some sort of, vain motherfucker. I don't think super highly of myself is what I'm trying to say. But I still like making videos, and I like watching them too. So, yeah, so I'm dead already. It's gonna take me a little bit of time to get used to this, especially recording again, because I haven't done that in a long time. But this game too. So I'm gonna be pretty bad to start off with. But that's nothing new really to this channel or to my own experience, so I'm not too worried about it. Actually, I recorded some Dark Souls recently too. It was kind of a weird video. I didn't do any like introduction or explanation, and I was kind of smug. And as a result of that smugness, I ended up dying quite a few times and then kind of rage quitting. But fuck, I'm dead already. I'm playing with the controller, by the way. Like I said, I'm on the TV out in the living room. Just got a new apartment, by the way. To future me who's watching this might be interested. Me and Courtney, we just got our new place. Well, a couple weeks ago. And it's been great so far. It's real nice little place. Good size. Oh, and we just got our kitty too, Tilly. Oh fuck. I can't remember how to place a bomb. There we go. Yeah, so Tilly's here. She's sitting on the bookshelf. Hopefully, by the time I watch this again, she's warmed up to me a little bit and is liking her new home. I've been having a great time this weekend. Courtney's out of town. Shouldn't let her hear that. But what I mean is I've just been chilling out, trying to recuperate from my job at Lowe's. Gotta wake up early for that. And it's been good, man. I've just been eating bacon, pizza all day. I went for a hike. Just living the life. Watched John Wick. Freaking awesome movie. I'm excited to see the second one. Yeah, I just watched the first one tonight, so thinking I might even watch the sequel tonight too, because it was really good. Some great action, great acting, and I like the simplicity, but you know, it was a. It's not like there was a whole lot of. I guess what I'm trying to say is I liked the subtleness of the story. It's like you can tell that there is like a lot of backstory, but they don't like spend a whole lot of time explaining it. They kind of let you figure it out as you go along. Which why didn't I go into that gold room? That was weird. It teleported me randomly. Huh. Well, anyway. What was I saying? Oh yeah, John Wick. So, you know, it was primarily like action focused, and they did that really, really well. But at the same time, you know, there's some underlying kind of depth and some real cool story that you kind of piece together yourself. And overall, it was, you know, a fairly simple idea for a plot. You know, I think really the action kind of spoke for itself, and they, you know, it's kind of a risk to do that, I suppose. But they made the action so good that it really does stand alone. And it makes you, you know, there's some emotional parts too, like, you know, that you feel like he's totally justified, even though it's like ridiculous amounts of carnage. But they did a good job setting that up. Yeah, I'm excited for the second one. I don't know what it's about, or how it ties into the first one. I guess we'll see. Tomorrow I got my buddy Nathan coming over. I haven't seen him in years, so that'll be fun. We were gonna probably watch Hardcore Henry. I just had that idea tonight, actually. While I was watching John Wick, I was thinking, man, I want to see Hardcore Henry too. And I had seen it already in theaters a while ago. But I've been wanting to watch it again on DVD or on Netflix or whatever. I haven't gotten around to it yet. But then I thought, you know, Nathan's coming over tomorrow. Maybe we can watch it together. So I think we're going to do that. And we got Mortal Kombat to play. Got my computer out here already, so that's all good to go. It's going to be a good bit of fun. Maybe we'll find some other stuff to play too. I've been playing a bit of Mortal Kombat recently. I'm usually not very good with the old fighters, but I've gotten a bit better at the combos and everything. The biggest problem I have is I'm not very good at the combos, because you have to hit them in so fast, you know. And I mean, they're fairly simple, you know, you can memorize them pretty easily. But actually entering them is kind of difficult, and it's a little bit technically difficult too, at least for me, because I often find that with the directional pad, you know, you got like 8 directions. You know, you got the diagonals as well as the up and the down. So I often find that I push you know, diagonal or up when I'm trying to go to the side, and so that screws up the whole combo. And if I try to take my time to deliberately get the right one, then oftentimes I'll oh, okay, Monstro. I figured that would like attack the boss, but I guess it just lands wherever you are. Yeah. So, but it's fun, man. Mortal Kombat. It's unbelievably visceral. Which, I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not like I'm a, you know, I don't have a gore fetish, but still, I mean, just the kind of nastiness is it kind. I don't know how to say that it's cool without sounding like a psychopath. But obviously other people enjoy it, so some people will know what I'm talking about. You know, it's just intense, I guess. Is the best way to put it, in a really cool way. Oh, 3 gold chests, eh? And me without a key. How sad. I know the gameplay in the background's kind of coming secondary to stories about my life. But you know what? That's alright. You know, it's been so long since I've recorded shit, I don't even remember how to do it properly. And you know, the mic audio on this is going to be terrible because I'm using my headset. I still don't have a freaking microphone stand or anything like that. But I'm not sweating it too much. You know, back in the day when I was making those, I was doing it primarily for fun. But you know, there's this kind of part of me that was, you know, hoping that I could make something big out of it. Like I know that I'm not like you know, super witty or funny or anything. But I don't know. I've always enjoyed watching my videos, so I don't know. I back in the day, I was kind of, my intentions were, you know, possibly gaining an audience or whatever. Although, like I said, that still came secondary to just having fun. But nowadays, you know, I'm really pleased that I had like just a couple of people who would watch my videos every once in a while. And you know, most of all, for my own sake, I like going back through and looking at them. Kind of like a, I don't know, like a diary, you know? Like, why do people keep diaries? They like reading about, oh, fuck, that was stupid. Oh, man. You know, they like, oh, I think that's a pretty good item. I can't remember what it does exactly. But, and you know, I like editing the videos too. Like with Amnesia, I didn't put a whole lot into the editing on that, but like with Fallout New Vegas, especially, I did, you know, I cut out the boring bits, and I think that really worked. It made it, really fun to watch, for me anyway. I don't know about you guys, because, like I said, I mean, I'm not like super funny or anything, but the whole reason that I'm doing this, and I just want to say this because I don't want people to think like, well, yeah, I don't know what I'm saying. I'm I'm trying to focus on killing spiders here. You know what? I'll do what I want. I'm recording a video for fun, damn it. So just leave it at that. No, I'm getting angry at an imaginary person or at myself. So don't sweat it. Alright, big fucking fat guy, and I'm stuck on poop. Oh man. Yeah, I'm getting kind of sleepy too, so it's kind of affecting my ability to play. Oh, here's a weird thing that's going on, by the way. My original idea was to record Fallout 3 tonight, and I installed it and everything, downloaded it. And it's so weird, man. When I push play, you know, Fallout, when you launch it, it loads up the setting menu, and then you push play from that, and it's so bizarre. But when I do that, my computer just plays this continuous oh, nice golden poop, this continuous tone. It's almost as if, like, what I think is happening is it's just crashing like immediately, and the background music, the small segment of that is looping, and then whenever another piece of audio plays, it stops the loop. So I think that's what's going on, but I have no idea why it crashes. And it doesn't say like Fallout has stopped working or anything. I don't think it even gets to the point where, you know, it's registered as running. Certainly not on Steam anyway. So yeah, pretty bizarre. I would have liked to have recorded that, and I'll probably get it working here pretty soon. So that may or may not be forthcoming. Fallout 3, man. It's kind of a strange story with that. As I'm sure you and I know, I played the fuck out of Fallout New Vegas, and I've still come back to it, man. You know, I've done Fallout 4, I've done Fallout 3, I've even done, you know, Fallouts 1 and 2 and Fallout Tactics, that sort of thing. And all of them, I've never really gotten more than, well, like 100 hours on Fallout 4, and maybe like 30 in the others. Fallout 3 I've only ever beaten once, and I've never even played any of the DLC. Fallout 4 I've only beaten once. I've made lots of characters, and I've done a lot of modding with that. I made a few of my own mods, and kind of dabbled in that endeavor, which was fun. So that accounts for, you know, a good 30 hours or so. But I gotta say, with Fallout New Vegas, it's the only one that I've really, I've played probably, like, I don't even know. I had it on the 360 before I had it on PC. And I've probably ended up playing, like, I don't know, probably close to 1,000 hours, honestly. Probably the most out of any game. And I've just consistently come back to it and had such a great time. And oh, that reminds me, I recorded. I think I still have the files too. I never put it out and I never edited it. But it was a guide on how to get overpowered in Fallout New Vegas in like a really short amount of time, and it works really well. It's a cool strategy that I kind of came up with. I can tell you about it here. Basically, there's an item in the game called Mercy, or is it Mercy? I think it is. I can't remember for sure though. But basically, it's a grenade machine gun. So it shoots 40mm grenades, right? And it auto fires. So it's like, and the clip is something like 15 or so, and the damage is really, really high. So bearing all of that in mind, and it requires high explosive skill to use. But I'm gonna use a bomb here if I can remember how. Nice. But you can use it with a lower explosive skill too. And so basically, you wake up in Good Springs, right, from Doc Mitchell, and if you take the right perks and like the right starting stats, you can make it so that all you have to do is you go down this road. On your way, you pick up a stealth boy, and you pick up Turbo, and that's how we're gonna get this item. Because it's in this Deathclaw cave. It's a cave absolutely filled with Deathclaws, right? So the strategy is that you wait on top of this hill, wait for the Deathclaws to clear out, and then you can jump into the inside this cave. And then there's a very specific route that if you take your turbo, which makes you super fast, and the Deathclaws all move in slow-mo, and then you use your stealth boy to stealth out of there, you can get this thing without getting mauled to death by like thousands of Deathclaws. Even as like a level 1, you can get this thing. And having that, you can, literally, I went to Quarry Junction, I think. I was a level 4 by the time I got everything else set up. And I cleared out Quarry Junction, man, as a level 4 character on very hard difficulty, which is just insane. And so the second part is, you'd think, well, okay, you have this insanely powerful weapon, something like the Alien Blaster, so ammo is going to be an issue. Right, ammo is going to be limited. But no, man. There's this vendor for the NCR in Hoover Dam. And I can't remember his name. He looks like a dork. Right, he's got this weird freaking haircut. But all you need to do is have 50 speech skill and have non-negative reputation with the NCR. And you can talk to this guy. And he has so much ammo of every type, for one thing. So, like, for any character, this guy's awesome. But for Mercy, he sells something like 300. He has like 300 40mm grenades in stock at any time. So, and you can refresh his inventory, of course, by waiting like I can't remember, 48 hours, or maybe it's like 2 weeks or something in game, and his inventory refreshes. So it's basically an unlimited source of ammo, and it is a little bit expensive, but not insanely. Like, I think it's something like 3,000 caps for 300 grenades. And with 300 grenades, man, you can easily clear out Quarry Junction and then some. And so you can go to like all the most dangerous places. Now, I will say, it requires high explosive skill. I think it's 100. So if you don't have that, it can sometimes jam, which is dangerous, of course. And it can sometimes, I don't know. But as you level up your explosives, for one thing, it does more and more damage. And it works better and better. But also you can get the blast radius and the hit the deck perks, which make it a little bit safer to use indoors. Because that is one downside of it. The fact that it's shooting area of effect weapons, and so if you're in close proximity, it can make things a little bit hairy. But there's even ways around that, because if you level up your explosives all the way, and ooh, that's creepy. If you get your explosives up and you get the right perks, I can't remember which perk it is, but shooting these grenades, they knock Deathclaws on their ass, man. Oh dear. Which basically means that, even Deathclaws get knocked over, but so do people, robots, pretty much everything, right? So all you have to do is shoot a grenade as someone's coming towards you or behind them. They'll get knocked on their ass for like a good 5 seconds, giving you plenty of time to take out everybody else. I was taking out like groups of legionary assassins. I cleared out entire Cottonwood Cove. I killed Caesar. In fact, I think I might have tried to like speed run the game with Mercy, and I ended up beating the game in like an hour or so. Just ridiculousness. It just makes everything so easy. which, you know, it's not exactly fun, but it does what it oh fuck, I died. I couldn't think of the word. It makes you overpowered, so it makes the game kind of boring, obviously, when you have that much power and nothing's really a threat to you. But at the same time, well, I don't know. It's just kind of cool, and it's an interesting strategy because obviously something that overpowered, you know, they try to temper with the fact that, oh well, you know, you got to get through a freaking legion of death claws to get to this thing, but not if you use turbo and not if you carefully stealth boy. And you know, if you're doing like Iron Man style, that might not work because it took me like maybe 20 reloads before I finally got the strategy down, and even then it's easy to make a mistake. But it's definitely possible. So you just nip in there, you grab that, and then I have the route all planned so that right afterwards. Oh, you need NCR reputation. You need to be accepted by them. So I have this route set that you complete a couple of NCR quests along the way, really easy ones, to the point where you have just the right amount of faction, and then you're golden. You can talk to the guy, do the speech check, and then get all the ammo you could ever freaking need. All in the course of like half an hour or so. So I was pretty proud of that. I'll probably edit that down and post that at some point. I know it's a little late in the game to be posting Fallout New Vegas strategy guides, but oddly enough, I haven't seen anything about Mercy. In fact, the gun anywhere online or anything like that. I've seen a couple of posts mention it for its high DPS, but never anybody, you know, mentioning just how freaking overpowered it is, and it really is. So yeah, it's pretty cool. I've been doing a lot of I was inspired by the channel Limit Breakers, if you've heard of them. He or she or they're really cool. They do a lot of Dark Souls stuff, but basically they look at you know, the game's data, and they try and figure out, you know, how far can you push this, like what's the lowest amount of damage that you can do, or like the highest amount of damage, or you know, anything like that. It's just really it's really interesting stuff, I think. But mostly what they do is kind of like useless stuff. That's their gimmick. But what I was trying to do with wow, look at that, 244 coins. That's pretty cool. What I was trying to do with the Fallout New Vegas stuff is more actual helpful things. Oh, and in Fallout 4, I was trying to do like some stat spoofing and just see like okay, you have all of these different factors that can affect your damage, like all these different perks and everything. So what is the the highest possible damage that you can do, or like the most effective possible build with all of the damage and all the modifiers and things that stack on top of each other? And it was interesting. What I found out. Basically, from what I found, there are two viable ways, and you can do melee or you can do with guns. And if you do guns, then you should do the shotgun, because a silenced shotgun, right? You can put a silencer on it. It doesn't affect the damage, And with the Sandman perk, I think it is, it gives you like an extra 10% damage with silenced weapons, or maybe that's Deacon's perk. I can't remember, but there's basically a way that it stacks with silencing, and it stacks with different gun bonuses too. And if you get the Rifleman perk and you make it single shot or semi-automatic, it does something crazy like 350 damage a shot or something. And obviously that's pellets, so you have to be relatively close. But combine that with plenty of jet, and jet's pretty easy to make. And if you have high intelligence too, and you get the chemist perk, so that jet lasts 30 seconds every time you take it. And all you need is plastic and fertilizer to make it, which are relatively easy to find. And so you can just have a huge stash on you. And what you can do is just take that shit and then jump around with the shotgun, get right up next to people, just absolutely decimate them, man. It's really effective, and it's a shitload of fun to play too. And with the melee character, I was basically trying to get the most ridiculous amount of strength possible. Because for every point of strength, I think you get 10% bonus damage, or something like that. It's either 10 or 20. I can't remember. But there are some great items. Like the Dirty Wastelander increases your strength by 6. And if you have, or maybe it's 4, I can't remember. But if you have a certain perk, my cat's up on the dresser in front of the TV. If you have a perk, I can't see half my screen. There's a perk. I can't even think now, man. There is a perk that makes it so I can't even remember what I was talking about. My brain is absolutely shutting down right now. Okay, let me take 1 second to compose myself. Man, what is wrong with my head? Okay. Maybe I hit my head harder than I thought. There's a perk, right? I literally can't remember what I was talking about. Okay, yeah. So there's a perk in the charisma tree. My cat's following my character on screen. That it doubles the effects of alcohol, so it makes the Dirty Wastelander give you like 8 strength, plus 8 strength, which is 80% more damage, right? And then you have Grognak's Axe, which is already super effective and easy to get at a low level, and that adds another 20% damage, I think, or maybe it's 40 even. Anyway, with that combination, you can get up to something like 27 strength pretty easily, and with materials that aren't actually that difficult to make, and it makes for a lot of fun. And you can couple that with jet too, and just go flying around and killing everybody. And the finishers are really cool. If you play in third person, and you get right up next to an enemy, and you do the attack, it'll do like this cool finishing animation. And I quite enjoyed those. It makes you feel like an absolute badass when you're going around and just knocking people down, chopping their heads off. Again, I sound like a psychopath, but obviously people enjoy that. I mean, I wasn't the one that programmed it, so if anyone's a psychopath, it's them, right? Anyway, it's a good bit of fun, and I've been doing a lot of that. And actually, I've been, like I said, I've been doing some mods and stuff. I made a whiskey mod, because I wanted to, if I'm going to be playing that, I wanted the ability to make alcohol and stuff so that I could increase my strength and, you know, not have to worry about like searching everywhere to find whiskey and beer and stuff. So I made a little distillery mod. I made my own 3D models and stuff. I made it look pretty cool. I had some trouble with the collision boxes, but I figured it out eventually. And it turned out well, man. It was pretty cool. I ended up, what's funny is I figured out how to do all the like 3D modeling and the texturing. I figured out how to, you know, add different items and effects and stuff. But for the life of me, I couldn't figure out the Python script. I tried reading about it, and I tried a load of different things. I couldn't quite wrap my head around it. And what I was trying to script was basically I wanted the whiskey barrel to check its inventory for mort, which is the thing that they basically ferment into whiskey, and you could craft mort at the cooking station by with I can't remember, it was either corn or wheat, but so I wanted it to be able to, you know, check its inventory. If it's there, then after a certain amount of time it changes. And oh fuck, my cat was blocking that spider. Oh, kitty, I don't have the heart to push him down. Well, anyway, I probably wasn't going to last much longer anyway. But so, again, my train of thought is derailed, like blame the mono. Come on, brain, you can do it. Gosh, I got this mind fuzz, man. Staying up at past 10. It makes me lose everything, man. Oh man, that's sweet. I got like burning head thing. Alright, I'm gonna have to pause to think again. So Fallout New Vegas, no. What? Fallout 4. And oh yeah, mods that I was making. So yeah, I made that whiskey mod. I couldn't figure out the script, so what I ended up doing was there was a similar script called the fridge. It was from a mod called the fridge, and basically what the fridge is well, that's exactly what it says on the tin. That sucks. I can't talk and do a room like that at the same time. But anyway, it and again, half my screen's blocked, so. Basically what the fridge did is it checks its inventory for drinks like Nuka-Cola, and after 24 hours it changes it into cold Nuka-Cola. So I thought that was pretty cool. And so what I wanted to do was download that and look at the script, right? And then all I would have to do is change a couple parameters. I have to change, okay, instead of looking for a drink, it looks for the mort, and instead of 24 hours, you know, it takes 2 weeks or whatever, and then it turns it into whiskey. Well, the problem is with the Python scripts, they're compiled, and I couldn't for the life of me find any way to decompile them into a way that I could read them. And so I was kind of lost. But thankfully, what kind of saved my ass in the end was the fridge script. You can edit some of the parameters. You can edit what items it looks for. You can't change the time or anything, but the script allows the flexibility of adding new items and changing the items. So what I did was I applied the script to a new 3D model of a whiskey barrel, and I changed the fear shot. Oh, interesting. I changed the changed. I changed the fridge to look for the mort and changed it into whiskey. Basically, I just changed it from taking a drink and making it cold to taking the mort and making it whiskey, um, which was and it worked. The only problem was that I couldn't edit like I said, I couldn't edit the timing on that, so it made whiskey very, very quickly. But I probably would have just ended up waiting like 24 hours or whatever, just hammering the wait button to oh shit, I should have gotten that last. My bad. So I guess it doesn't matter. I was a little bit disappointed that I couldn't figure out how to do it. But, I kind of got there in the end, in a way. I'm just pausing now so that I can think of the other mod that I made, because I actually can't remember. What was it? I did some stuff with face stuff. Yeah, I did all that. Yeah, so the refinery mod, I didn't post it or anything. It's not really. Plus, it's like like I said, a lot of it's plagiarized, and there are better alternatives out there, I think. But for the most part, it was pretty cool. And I think I did something else too. I made some small tweaks, like to make antiseptic. I basically made it so that you could make a lot more stuff by growing it, and I downloaded some mods that basically allow you to have like your own little farms. You don't have to have like settlers doing it for you necessarily, and I made it so that you could pretty much grow and refine things into like all the crafting components that you need for various stuff. So like fertilizer, you could I think there was like a way to age like plants and stuff into fertilizer to make jet, and there's a way to make antiseptic out of alcohol, and there's a way to brew alcohol, obviously. And I died again. That's alright. Oh, I don't want that. Is there any way to restart, please? Please. I don't know how. Oh well. So yeah, it was pretty cool. I enjoyed doing that. And I've done some modding for Gary's mod too. It was funny. I tried to put my face as a character model, just to see if I could, for fun. And so what I did was I took the textures for a model from Half-Life, just one of the citizens, and I took their face texture. And basically, if you haven't loaded a face texture as a flat image, I recommend you do it, because it looks really weird, but pretty cool the way that it works. Basically, it starts out kind of compacted, like around the face, so the eyes are kind of close together, and then it stretches out as it goes further. And basically, what they do is they just take that texture and they wrap it around the 3D model. And so if you have the right tools, you can pretty easily put whatever texture you want on there. So what I did was I took pictures of my face from different angles. I got the sides and the front, and then I just laid that on top in Photoshop of the original, and then I played with it and stretched it a bit, and kind of blended it together so that it was a flat representation. And the end result, I could have made it better if I had just done a little bit of tweaking, but as it was pretty good. For kind of not knowing what I was doing exactly and just kind of messing around, it worked quite well, and I was quite pleased with the result. But I shouldn't have used that. I was trying to put a bomb. But the point is, it was quite a lot of fun doing the whole texture stuff. And actually, yeah, I've had this project in my head for a while, and the whole reason that I got into the modding scene for both Fallout 4 and for Gary's mod is because, to give you some background here, I listen to a lot of audiobooks. I really enjoy them just because my brain, it has a tendency to, I don't know if you've noticed this in my gaming, but it goes into autopilot basically, especially for like, things that like simple tasks, and it makes it so that information like audiobooks really gets picked up by my brain quite easily when it's in that kind of like relaxed, just autopilot state. And so I found them to be like an absolute godsend, really, because when I used to work at Best Buy, we would do like product reset or like tag reset. So we'd have to peel off all of the old, come in really early in the morning, by the way. We'd peel off all the old signs and replace them with new stickers with the right prices. It was super boring, but with the audiobooks, man, I absolutely loved just being there every day and doing it. I didn't like, the only bad part was having to bend over to get stuff low down, but apart from that, man, it was so much fun. I mean, it was like watching a movie every day, coming into work, listening to an audiobook, and it would just all basically unfold in front of my eyes, and before I knew it, all my work was done, and I got to go home, and I basically, like I said, I got to like watch a movie basically throughout all of work every Sunday. And for driving too, man, I absolutely love it. So I listen to a lot, and recently I've been listening to Discworld. I've been getting through those. I've listened to a lot of Stephen King, and particularly my absolute favorite. So much so, I'm actually re-listening to them all, and I'm on the fourth one. But the Dark Tower series. If you've never read it or listened to it, absolutely recommend it. It's an enthralling tale. It's really, I mean, my all-time favorite book, it used to be Dune. I absolutely love that story, but once I read The Dark Tower, my God, it totally, I mean, it changed my life in a way. I don't want to get, like all profound and say like, it totally redefined my life, but it really, it gave me a deeper sense of appreciation for stories and for books, and it got me hooked on audiobooks. Really, I mean, it did kind of change my life, and it's such a good story, man. It is really fantastic. I mean, just thinking back on it, I can't even say for sure what exactly makes it so great, but I absolutely love it. And so I listened to that every day, and I got through all 7 books in a couple of months listening to them. And I gotta say, for The Dark Tower, the first 4 books are read by this guy Frank Muller. Man, he's fantastic. With audiobooks, your mileage may vary depending on the reader, and most of them, they're professionals and they do a really great job. But Frank Muller, man, he just blows it out of the park. The Dark Tower. He does all the character voices just so perfectly. It's like they form these characters in your head, and I swear his like range. You know, he does boys and girls and men and old women, and you know some of his voices are the same. But for an audiobook reader, it's highly impressive. Especially the way that he does Susanna, one of the main characters. It's really amazing. And Roland too. It's a great. Oh fuck, that sucked. um, really great job. And unfortunately, he passed away before he could finish the series. He got up to book 4 before he fell ill and he couldn't do them anymore. Which is sad, but he left behind the first 4 and a series of other books that he's done. And man, I just love his voice. And the other guy, George Goodall, he does a really good job too. His audio isn't quite high as quality, and he doesn't have quite the range of characters, but he read the other Dark Towers 5 through 9, and I appreciate him too. He's pretty good. Probably the second best audiobook reader I've had so far. So big props to Frank Muller, and big props to the Dark Tower. And that's what this whole point was about. You know, I know I'm rambling on here, but so the Dark Tower, there's some great moments and great storytelling, man. And one of my favorite moments is well, I'm not going to spoil the story, so I guess I can't really tell you. But my point, I guess, is listening to Frank Muller and everything. Oh god, I'm fucked here, aren't I? Shoot. Anyway, he does such a good job reading and describing everything and doing the voices that it's basically, if you just had footage of actors playing these characters, you could just put that audio on top and it would play like a movie. And so my idea was I could take Gary's mod, and you can render 3D models in there, and people have made stop motion animations. And if I got the models all right and made a model for each character, I could act out scenes from the book and put the audio of Frank Muller on top, reading out the characters' voices, and I just thought that'd be such a cool thing to do. It's like seeing your favorite book kind of come to life and getting to make it. And so I didn't get too far on that. I might revisit it later, but that's kind of the reason I got into texture editing and stuff. What I really wanted to do, actually, and I never figured this out. So if any of you know, if any of you guys have a clue, let me know. But basically, what I was really trying to do was I was really trying to take Fallout 4, right? So Fallout 4 has a really great character creator. You can edit things and really make some cool looking characters. And I had a go at making Roland from like the first day that I got it. In fact, Codsworth can actually say Roland's full name, Roland Deschain, or Deschain. He has that programmed in, which is pretty cool. And so I made Roland as a character, and I think I did a pretty good job. And so my question, and what I could never figure out how to do, is I figured out in the creation kit how to rip the 3D models of NPCs, but I could never figure out where the 3D model for a character is stored, or for the player character. So basically in the creation kit, it's pretty easy. All the NPCs and all the objects, pretty much everything in the game has a unique ID, and so if you want your character to look like an NPC, it's fairly easy. You can through this one mod, I think, looks menu, you can just add that NPC to the character presets, and then at the character creation screen, you can make it look like any one of the NPCs. And I've done that a couple times. But my main concern is, I mean, with the character editor, you have a physical 3D representation of your character that is what I assume to be. I mean, if it was first person exclusive, that would be a different story. But in third person and in the cinematic cam and everything, you have a 3D representation of your character, and I assume that it's the same kind of model as everything else. I mean, why wouldn't it be? It does the same animations, it does the same movement and everything. So, but what I can't figure out is where that data is stored. Once you create a character, how can you then find both the texture files and the NIF files? And if you could, it'd be a real simple matter of putting them into Gary's mod, because all you have to do is basically export the NIF, and you might have to re-rig it, or you might even be able to export it with the rigging so that it's just a ragdoll. And I had a go at making an NPC into Gary's mod, and it was real easy, So I don't see why it would be so hard if I just knew where the files were to rip a player character. And with that in mind, the character creator is really good, and there's so many mods out there too that you could make anybody. You can make Roland, you can make all the characters from the story, and make them look really good too. And I mean, it seems to me like even the facial rigging is pretty good. With Fallout 4 has all the audio, all the scripted audio. I don't know what this massage bed item does, but their mouths move, and so it wouldn't be that hard to rig up something in Henry's animation tool, or just do stop motion Gary's mod, or I'm not even saying making it like a perfect animation necessarily, but making something that is even just like a slideshow kind of thing. I just think it would be so cool to have those characters, and you can make sets too, because there's tons of maps that you can download, and there's tons of maps that you can create in Gary's mod too, and there's just a lot of freedom to kind of make anything from the book, and then just put the audio over it, and then you basically got a movie, man. I mean, you could even do some like music and stuff too. I wouldn't want to animate the whole book, but there are a couple of key scenes that I think other Dark Tower fans, they'd be a big fan of. And so that's a little pet project I got going on. If any of you have any ideas or kind of suggestions for that, let me know. I haven't been able to find out any more myself than what I've told you. But yeah, if you guys know more about that than me, which is highly possible, do let me know, because I'm interested. I think it's a good idea. This green brain is actually a pretty good item, I believe. although it can be dangerous. I thought it respawned a lot quicker than that. That's alright though. See, it pretty much decimates those guys. I guess it just takes time to respawn. But yeah, so that's something interesting, kinda. The whole modding situation. And doing all that, it's given me a lot more knowledge on modding in general and how games kind of work that way. So it's been a cool learning experience, and I recommend it. It's really not that hard to get into. You just read a couple of tutorials and just kind of mess around. And making mods is fun, man. I had a couple ideas for like some new weapons you could add to Fallout 2, like a plasma shotgun was one. And I kind of wanted to try my hand at making the 3D models for them, making the animations and stuff. And I tell you what, there's a lot that you can do using assets that are already in the game, right? So, you know, my idea is like with my distillery mod, for example. I made what looked like a distillery kind of thing. It had like a pipe out, and it had like barrels around it, and like sugar packets, and all that stuff. I just took those 3D models, I ripped them from the game files, and then I just loaded them up in a NIF editor. Oh, these pills make me shoot all wonky. I'm just gonna die. Try again. But so there's a lot that you can do, and you don't even have to make it yourself necessarily. Just kind of take what's already available and put it together in a kind of cool way, and make like little edits, you know. Because I mean, I'll be honest, I don't know the first thing about, you know, opening up frickin' Blender and making a 3D model from scratch. You know, I can edit what's already available, but when it comes to, you know, creating brand new stuff, that's complicated stuff, and like textures too. But you know, with textures, a lot of that you can take from real life. Just take a photo, and converting it to the right format's not hard, and in Photoshop. So you know, that's an idea. You know, if you wanted to make anything really, I mean, you know, they can't copyright a picture of grass like outside your lawn. So if you wanted to have, you know, custom grass textures or something, you know, that'd be real easy to do, or anything really. You know, if you wanted to add something specific to Gary's mod, say you wanted to add a door that looks like your front door. It wouldn't be hard, man. You could take a 3D model of a door, go outside, take a picture of your front door, and then just do a little bit of editing on the texture side, and then there you go, man. That's in game, and it looks just like your door. And so, I guess what I'm trying to say is, if that interests you at all, I highly recommend you take a look, because it's not as hard as you might think, really. And stuff like the Fallout Creation Kit and the Skyrim Creation Kit, man, they make it pretty easy to do some pretty cool stuff. So yeah, I recommend you take a look. Like creating new weapons, I mean, it's super easy, really. All you have to do is look up an existing weapon, click Create Copy, and then you already have an object in game. And then all you have to do is edit it. So you change the name, you change the file, the 3D model, and as long as you made the 3D model right, and then you can change the animation too. But like I said, you could reuse stuff. So for some of the things, you don't even need to change the animation. Like say you wanted to add a fire axe to Fallout 4. I don't know why there wasn't one in the first place, but you could take a baseball bat, right? So what you do is you open up the creation kit, you find the baseball bat, and you make a copy of that object. And then you take your copy, you rename it a Fire Axe, and then you change the model, and you'd have to get a 3D model of a Fire Axe. But you could even take the Fire Axe from, say, Fallout New Vegas, and rip that onto a NIF file, and then use that 3D model, already textured and everything, and it'll have the swing animation of the baseball bat, but that'll look okay, that'll look okay on the Fire Axe. And then boom, you're done, and you can adjust the damage that it does. You can even adjust the modifications for it, and make it have different colors and stuff. It's real fun, real cool, and it's cool that you can customize your game in that way, And well, I mean that's all I had to say on it, I guess. It's quite a lot of fun. And shout out to my other fellow Dark Tower fans out there. Yeah. Well, I don't have too much else to talk about. I got a couple of other projects I'm working on. Speaking of this whole kind of do-it-yourself kind of mentality, I really want to encourage anybody who's listening to look into anything that you have even a vague interest in, because like just a few years ago, man, I had like thoughts that oh man, it would be cool if like something would break. Say like I had like this little USB fan that stopped working, and I didn't know why. And so like 5 years ago, my mentality would have been like, oh well, there's nothing I can do. Obviously, I'll just have to buy a new one, because I don't know how to open that up and take the wires and all the circuitry and everything. It's too complicated. But really, man, if you just take a whack at it, it's not as hard as you think. Those things, like with that USB fan, I opened it up. Guess what? There's just a couple of loose wires. All it takes is a soldering iron, a little bit of solder, and look up online how to do that, how to do the soldering, and it's real easy. It took me like 30 seconds. Wrap it up in electrical tape, boom, it was good to go. Worked like brand new, and it looked fine too, because it's all internal. And so things nowadays they're made cheaply. And they're meant to be replaceable, but man, there's so much that you don't have to replace. Like when I worked at Best Buy, man, we would get loads of old computers recycled. Shit, oh, the gold room was right there. I fucked that up. Anyway, we would get like laptops and all sorts of stuff. And let me tell you, I've taken a couple of laptops out of there. They work just fine, man. There's there was one that wouldn't boot up. For example, open up the back, hard drive was loose. That's all it was. The boot drive wasn't installed, so I just pushed it on in, loaded up just fine. And I mean, it wasn't the greatest laptop, but I mean, shit. How much could you sell that for? And obviously, I don't make a profit on it. That would be illegal. What I mean to say is, I don't sell them for a profit or steal them or anything, but it's just the wastefulness. And like this one time, this guy gave me a TV, right? He was gonna throw it away, and I asked him what's wrong with it. And he said, well, I was struck by lightning. Okay, well, I took that TV off his hands because I wanted to see what I could do with it, and I haven't found a solution yet, but I'm coming close. And I've opened up the back, and TVs, man, even TVs. You think, oh man, a TV. I mean, shit, that must be really complicated, right? All it is a board with the power and a board for the video. And the video board, now I'll admit I don't understand like all the inner workings of the circuitry, but all it is a couple of converters and then some ribbon cables. And I mean, you know, it's pretty easy to identify a ribbon cable and, you know, replace it if it needs to be. And then there's the power supply. And so just with that basic knowledge, you can do some real good troubleshooting and see what's wrong. And what I've managed to do so far is checking the power supply. There were a couple of bulging I don't even know what you call them, but I know what they look like. They're transistors maybe, or I don't know. The point is they prevent the electrical circuit from overloading, I think. Capacitors, that's it. And like I said, I don't even know what they do exactly, but I know that the one that was on there was broken because it was all fried and bulging, and so all I had to do was unscrew that board, just regular old screws. Take oh, I don't like these guys. You take just a little bit of solder, and soldering is not hard, man. It's just it's like $11 at Walmart. You get a soldering iron and some solder, real cheap stuff. And all I had to do was replace those capacitors. They're like $2 on Amazon, something crazy. As long as they match up, you know, the voltage and everything, it's fine. You can totally replace them yourself. And so far, I've gotten the video to actually come on. Now it still flickers, so there's something still wrong with either the power supply or the video board. I haven't found out yet, but you know, I fixed it actually comes on now, and it's a steady supply of audio. At least the picture flickers, but everything else works just fine. So you know, it's pretty cool, man. And that's like how much would you pay for that TV? It's probably like worth $700, and this guy gave it to me just because he was gonna throw it away. And you know, I might be able to turn around and actually use it and have like an extra TV around. So I mean, how cool is that? And it doesn't cost you hardly anything. And plus, it's a lot of fun, man. Breaking stuff open, seeing how it works. And it doesn't apply just to electronics either. It applies to all sorts of things, man. You know, like our dryer wasn't working, and so you know, I thought, well, okay, I don't know how a dryer. Well, okay, I know how a dryer works, but I don't know the inner workings of the system. So all I had to do was Google my brand, the brand of dryer that we have, right? And I checked out somebody opening it up and explaining what each part was, basically. And there were videos of people doing that for just about anything, man. And so I did that, and I learned about how it works and all the different parts. And so then I opened up mine. Turns out nothing wrong with the interior. I was able to check and identify that the is that gonna go through? Shit, fuck. I was able to identify that there was nothing wrong with the inside. The belts were fine. The heater was okay. And that oh fuck! I got killed by the little guy. Shit. How many times have I restarted? What was I saying? Oh, yeah, so the problem was just that, having ruled those other things out, I just checked the simplest thing, which was the vent, and it was full of dryer lint, man. It was absolutely terrible. And so that's why it wasn't getting hot. And that's a real fire hazard, too. So, PSA, check your dryer vent, make sure it's clear. But, yeah, that was the only thing wrong with it. It was such an easy thing to fix, man. All you had to do was pull it out. And so, you know, I guess what I'm trying to say is, don't be afraid to take something apart and just see, look up online too, because there's so much information out there about everything, and you can fix just about anything yourself. You don't need to pay to get a new thing. You don't need to you don't need to waste it, man. There's so much that you can do, and even if it does break, I mean, think about it this way, and this is the way that I think about it. You have, say a dryer, for example, right? What? Think about the components of a dryer, right? There's the drum, the motor. There's the band that rotates the motor, and then there's the drying component, which is either gas or electric. So, okay, let's think about those parts and just think, what can actually go wrong? What can break over time that would cause this thing to stop working completely, right? Like, oh, well, this finally broke, so now it's time for a new washer. What could possibly do that? Well, like, think about the motor could go out. Well, okay. Now, I don't know a whole lot about electric motors, I'll be honest. So I can't really speak for that necessarily. But how hard would it be to get a new motor, for example? Maybe not too hard to replace the whole motor, or maybe you can open up the motor. Because, I mean, what's in it? There's electric circuitry, there's obviously some sort of magnet-driven something or other, and then there's a set of gears. And so, if you know about machining, and if you know the right kind of parts that you need, and you know how to fix those things, how to diagnose even those kind of things, then you could replace the motor. The band, the thing that drives the motor to turn the drum, shit, man, that's like a $20 repair. The heating element, I mean, think about how an electric heating element works. It's just current going through a piece of metal. Not really that fancy. And the gas part, well, I can't condone necessarily doing your own gas repair, because that's potentially dangerous. But my point is, people throw things away, and they claim that they've broken, when in fact, fixing them, it's not a walk in the park, but it's not impossible. And all my life, I've kind of had the attitude of, well, if it breaks, I mean, I don't know how that shit works. I've never taken apart a washing machine or a dryer or a laptop, much less. So if it breaks, you have to take it somewhere. But that's just not true, man. There's so much that you can do. You have a lot of power, and especially with the internet, there's just such a lot that you can do to get the stuff running. And as long as it's not disintegrated into a puddle, I mean, you can fix just about anything, man. For real. As long as it's not like super beat up and super then there's a use for a lot of things that people just throw away. Like all these old computers. I mean, you can, for one thing, you can take most of the parts, and there's gold on them, so you can scrap that using I can't remember, muriatic acid. It strips the gold, right? And you can sell that shit. I've been saving up a lot of RAM from old discarded computers, and I'm gonna do that. And I mean, like, there's this one processor, right? It's the Intel Pentium, I think. Every single one has a whole gram of gold, an entire gram. I don't know what that sells for nowadays, but it's worth money, man. It's not worth just throwing it away. Just because your computer stops working for one reason or another, I don't think it's ever worth just throwing it in the bin. Because I mean, you paid a lot of money for it at the time. It still has value. You know, the raw materials alone, they still have value. And so I mean, I guess if you can afford to just kind of throw it away, you know, it's not worth the effort to you. You know, that's fine. But like, try to sell it, man. Try and donate it so that it doesn't just end up in a landfill. I mean, if you think about how much space and how much freaking trash we throw away, you know, not to get all hippie on you, but yeah, I mean, it's pretty disgusting. You look at a landfill and just think about how much of that shit in there could be recycled, could be reused, could be, you know, turned into something else. And how much, you know, good stuff is thrown away too. You know? Like plastic and all sorts of shit. I mean, I don't know, man. I think we as a society are pretty wasteful. And, you know, I say that because I've seen, like I said, I've seen people throw shit away that just, well, okay, fair enough. They are recycling it at Best Buy. So, they're at least making an effort to not just throw it in the dumpster. But still, it's like, why not use it for yourself? Like or you know, try and sell it, get some money for it, and make it. Because recycling isn't perfect, right? I mean, parts of it are gonna get thrown away, no matter what you do. So like this one time, there was this nice Wii, you know, the Wii gaming system. The whole thing, and it had a bunch of controllers, like 50 different games, and all of that was in the recycling bin. it made my heart hurt, man. You know, having to watch that shit go, it really sucked. Cause like, man, the controllers, I could use the controllers, have some extra ones for friends to come over, bunch of different games. I mean, the Wii itself, man, you can homebrew on that shit. You can run, you know, custom software. You can download different games for it. There's so much you can do and so much fun that you can have. I mean, it's worth a lot of money, I think. And people pay for that stuff too. Like, why would you ever throw it away? Especially if it works. You know, like, I mean, I imagine, I don't know why they're getting rid of it, but for one reason or another, it was being recycled. So, yeah, I think we should all endeavor to be a little less wasteful and a little, you know, try and fix stuff, man. It's good for you. It's good to look at that kind of stuff and learn stuff too. It's good for your brain, you know. Just try and learn how to do stuff for yourself, so you don't have to necessarily call a handyman. And a lot of that shit can be done for cheaper. Oh, I have a good story for you. So you know, I love chips and salsa, man. It's one of my favorite snacks. You know, I mean, I could eat it every day probably. And so, you know, it kind of sucks. You know, you pay for tortilla chips. It's like, you know, $2 for a bag, and you pay for salsa. It's probably like, you know, $3 for a relatively small container, honestly. Well, you know what? You can frickin' make salsa for dirt cheap. You can buy a whole big thing of tomatoes, a thing of chilies, and a jalapeno pepper for like $2. And it makes you a container of salsa that can last you a week. You know, it's huge. Plus, and it's really tasty too. And tortilla chips too, man. Masa flour, super easy to buy. It's super cheap. You can make so many tortilla chips if you know how. I haven't gotten around to doing it myself. You do need a tortilla press, but you know, they make the cast iron ones that'll last you your whole life. It's like a $15 investment, and then you have fresh tortilla chips for the rest of your life. I mean, for dirt cheap, you know, pennies on the dollar. So that's something to think about too, man. Like, why buy what you can make yourself? And I try to apply that philosophy. I've been trying to more and more. Yeah. And that's all. That's all I have to say, really, on that. I'd encourage you all to try and do it yourself. So I guess I'll keep playing until I die this time. I know I've done a whole lot of talking and not a lot of playing, but this was kind of my first day back on the recording stuff. So go easy on me, I hope. And I hope you found some of the things that I was saying to be vaguely interesting. Gotta take care of these spiders. I do have a key for the gold room, so that's nice. Item snatcher. Kinda useless because we can fly, but that's alright. So let me just test something with this unicorn. I'm thinking that rage builds over time. Yeah, so, oh my gosh, this thing is powerful as fuck. All we have to do is find a safe place to hide out in each room, wait for our special ability to activate. Like if I just hide here on this rock, especially because I can fly, all I have to do is wait for the rainbows. And then just go to town, take out all the big guys first. Then be careful not to run into that spider. Boom. Easy. Oh man. This item is really good. Okay, now if I can just avoid getting hit. Plus, I think it makes your tears do more damage too. Like, look, alright, I'll run into Pin. Look at that! Holy crap! Oh man, this item. I just gotta try not to die, because this is, I mean, if I knew what I was doing, I could, fuck. Yeah, so like these guys, man, it's scary. But there we go. It doesn't even take that long. Man, look at that shit. That's amazing. Yeah, if I just had a little bit more practice, I could win the game with this, I'm sure. Probably shouldn't have done that. That's alright. Alright, we beat the boss, yeah. Alright, next level. So this is the farthest we've got, I think, so far. That's kind of pathetic. But, oh, beggar. Too bad I spent all my coins. God, I hate these. Hopefully our unicorn power will make this a little bit easier. So yeah, Discworld, by the way, is a great little story, well, series of stories by Terry Pratchett. If you haven't heard of that, I definitely recommend you check it out. Okay, it looks like it's only one use per room, which is good to know. So I'm gonna have to take these guys out the old-fashioned way. Yeah, Discworld has my recommendation too. I'm only on book 4, but I'm reading them, or I'm listening to them actually, and the narrators are good. There's 3 different narrators that do them. Oh, I'm assuming I'm invincible. Yeah, look at that. Crazy. Yep, I'm totally safe here. Being able to fly too just makes this so crazily easy. They're cool little stories. Wealth of wealth. Huh. Wonder what that means. Well, I guess we'll find out. Cross tiers. Oh, that's kind of cool. Doesn't hurt. I'm gonna try and get some mushrooms or pills. Nope, no pills. Alright. Shit, what was I talking about? I don't even know. My brain's kinda a bit fuzzy right now. I'm getting kinda tired. It's a shame I got such a great item right as I'm trying to wrap up the video. Yeah, Discworld. It's pretty good. Very dry, kind of British humor, which I enjoy. Yeah, fuckers. So this is gonna be a bit hairy. I'm gonna have to try and mop up as many as I can quickly. Oh, I did it. Awesome. Yeah. So I guess we'll knock out the boss. If we can. Man, I need to learn the controls a bit better. Ah, God. Fucking flies, alright? Alright, then we go and take that guy out. Come on! Oh, so close. Yes! Ah, fuck. I did take a bit of damage here. Like I said, if my reflexes were just a little bit better, I could really turn this into something awesome. But as it is, I guess we'll just have to see how far I can get. I wish there was a way to save. Oh! Oh shit. Oh, it did save. Oh fuck, alright, I'm gonna quit then. And we'll come back to it next time. Because, man, I'm not in the condition to waste a good run like that, so... thanks guys for watching. This is like an hour long, so I'll probably split it up. Thanks for listening to my thoughts on shit and other shit and stuff that's going on in my life. Probably pretty boring for you, unless you're me. And if you're listening to this, you probably are. So yeah, thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.